What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back. Match preview time, and it's good to have football back after such a long break. It feels like forever since we've played, although it was a very, very bad result in the last time we played, but we'll try and move on from that. With me, I've got a guest with me now. My younger self and my school friends will be very proud that I've got this guy on with me right now. But it's Richie from Five. How you doing, man?
I'm good, KG. How are you doing?
All good. Ready for the football to come back. It's going to be a tough game. I can't lie, Richie. When this game got postponed at Christmas, I was very happy because we were not in a good state then. So I think you would have really gone over us on that one.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I think both our teams did well last season, and then we both had dips as well at the same time. So I don't know. From a Villa perspective, we're hopefully just starting to get it a bit more together and play Stevie's way and that. But yeah, I don't know about that. And you seem to be one of our bogey teams sometimes as well.
Well, that's it. I mean, we'll talk about Dean Smith's exit because obviously at the time, he's a Villa fan and everything else like that. How were
Yeah.
you with the Dean Smith exit? Did you agree with it at the time?
Every Villa fan loves Smith. I say that most Villa fans love Smith, and he came to Villa where we were like 15th in the Championship, and Leeds fans more than anyone know how that feels like to go from being a regular Prem team and being a big team with big accolades, and then going down and languishing down there. So he really did do a job, and he really turned things around. And just the fact that his dad was like a steward at Villa and his whole family was a Villa fan, it was just a nice feeling, and he did the job. And I got to be honest, at the time when they were talking, I was like, look, give him a bit more time. I know he's lost 5 on the bounce, but I think that's just a bit of an anomaly. I think he'll get it together. And I didn't want Stevie G. I've got to be honest. I was like, it's a bit of a risk. And he's only done Scotland and I'm sure he'll be great at some time, but I'm not sure about this now. But in all honesty, now he's come in and I've seen the man, I've seen his interviews. I'm getting to know his mind state. The man is an animal. He's a total winner. He doesn't take any prisoners. And you could offer me any manager in the world and I wouldn't take it. I'd go, we'll stick with Stevie.
That's beautiful, man. Because listen, with Dean Smith, for me, what it was that things started to fall apart for him a bit. And I know you mentioned that 5 losses in a row, but he also then dropped Tyrone Mings, which is his captain, and then usually from those points, something's got to give. So it was kind of like, for me, the writing was on the wall.
But I think I probably would have dropped Tyrone for a game, maybe 2 games before that. Because as much as I love Mings, and he is a colossus most of the time, very often there's 1, maybe 2 big mistakes within a game.
Yeah.
In the Prem you get punished for. It's like, Mings, come on, please do that. So sometimes you've got to have the balls as a manager to drop your captain and to do things like that. So I felt, I felt it was kind of ballsy and the right thing to do at that time.
But looking at Steven Gerrard, and we won't touch on the window yet that he's just had, but you can already see his identity in the play. Like front foot football, he wants his wing backs to attack. He's just got a smooth way of playing. And I know it was Scotland, and you do have to account for that.
Yeah.
But you can just tell in his demeanor as well, the way that he just carries himself, and the players that you got in January. Because let's face it, if Dean Smith had tried to call Coutinho would have hung up the phone. Yeah,
for sure.
So he's got that respect that current players love, because these guys have watched Steven Gerrard growing up. So he's going to be able to attract a player that you probably couldn't have done before. So, and I kind of knew with his ideas as well. I guess we will touch on the transfer window that Al Ghazi wasn't going to be a player of his, and Matt Targett, as much as he's like a 6 or 7 out of 10, he wasn't a Stevie G kind of player, which is why you upgraded with Luca Dean. So tell me how you thought your January transfer window's gone.
I mean, Coutinho was the first signing, I think, very early on.
Yeah.
And especially, like, obviously, as you can imagine, losing Grealish last summer was a big just it really. I mean, there was like almost like group counselling sessions with the Villa fans online, and in spaces on Twitter and that. We were all like, "What do you mean? He's like the Villa boy. He's one of us, and he's left us for Man City." So that hurt, and it was kind of then we got Buendia in and Ings and all of that, and Bailey, and unfortunately Bailey sort of struggled with injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just didn't click immediately, and it was like, were we Jack Grealish FC a little bit, and all of that kind of stuff. And then Coutinho sort of comes in. It's like, whoa, hold up, what? Coutinho, this is crazy, like.
Yeah.
And it did, it kind of felt like, hang on, things are seriously stepping up a level here.
Yeah.
And it's getting to, as a fan, kind of where you want to be. You want to be attracting those players and that kind of thing. So I'm desperately hoping that the second half of the season, now Gerrard's been in there for a little while, with the likes of Coutinho and Bailey coming back, because I've got great hopes for Bailey. I love that player. He's such a good player.
Yeah.
I think, and I mean, he is a magician. I mean, and it was even great to see him go off and play for Brazil just now and put that corker in. And it's like, all right. And I'm hearing reports from his sort of, like one of them sources say that he's sort of enjoying his football now, and him and Steve are such good friends and that he's like the happiest he's been in years sort of playing his football, and he really wants to dig in for Villa, which is music to your ears,
Yeah. He's an arm around the shoulder player. He's always been like that. If he feels loved, you'll get the best out of him, which is why I think he's going to be very good for you on loan, and possibly beyond as well. I think you will probably sign him in the summer. I
think you've got first tabs and 33 million or so. I mean, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, you've got to do that. I mean, comparing to our January transfer window that we just had, I mean, somebody there just said it's okay because this is family, and much like everyone else around us in that bottom half of the table, pretty much made signings or changed their manager.
Yeah.
Our board have said no, we're going to stay with what we've got. Bielsa in today's press conference said he couldn't find anyone better than we've already got, which is that's a topic for another day. But it was just like we would hope that we could have got someone in quietly like you did. I mean, Callum Chambers, Danny Ings, you just sign those players and they're just there. We never heard any rumors. There was never any whispers. They just turned up. And I was kind of hoping that we would do something like that. Yeah. So you address your squad depth, and you've also moved out players that you wouldn't play. And that, for me, I respect that a lot by Steven Gerrard.
Yeah, and definitely that whole thing of like no whispers. I mean, that Callum Chambers signing it was like, oh, I mean, it was literally the picture in the Villa shirt at Oddymore Heath. It was like, oh, all right, Callum. It was mad. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, they do seem to be keeping it really, playing the cards very tight. Yeah.
And I recall you, I watched you on a Villa podcast last year, and you said about you didn't want Jack Grealish to go, and you kind of touched on it there. But looking at it now, I know what you mentioned with Leon Bailey. He's always had that problem with injuries, though he's so good when he plays, but he gets injured a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
But when you look at it now, would you swap anything? Would you have kept Grealish, or in hindsight, do you think it's good that you moved on that so the team can try and cope without him now? Because it has been a few years, because he literally was running the show for you for a few years.
Yeah, like it's a funny one, because I still, when I see him in a Man City shirt, I'm like, even now, I'm still like, nah, don't look right. And I get it. I get why he wanted to go. Ultimately, he wants to win accolades, but I can't imagine that he's happy. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure he's happy when he, 300 grand drops in his bank account every week. Yeah. But as far as football goes, it's not. I don't think he's going as well as he anticipated. And I do feel a little bit sorry for him in that respect. What was your original question? I've waffled myself. I can't remember.
It's all right, man. It's just, would you have changed it? Would you still have him now, or do you prefer the way it is now with Villa being more of a team rather than relying on one player?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that is the point. That we are more of a squad now, and I think there's more dangers in the squad and in attack and stuff like that. And I mean, arguably with Coutinho, we've actually replaced him with better.
Yeah, there's an argument. There's an argument.
I mean, Jack Grealish was doing some interview and saying how Coutinho is one of his all-time favourites. So,
Well, the thing is with Jack Grealish, and I know a lot of people are saying that he's flopping so far this year, but for me, it's an adaptation for him at Man City under Pep. I don't think you're going to see the very best of him until next season.
But he's not a pass and move player. He's a dribbler.
Yeah, that's what he's going to have to adapt to because he can't hold the ball up as much as he wants anymore.
Yeah,
all that being the most foul player, it was fine at Villa. But if he does that at Man City, Pep won't be impressed because he'll be thinking, well, why haven't you released the ball quicker?
Yeah.
So it will be an adaptation period for him, but I do think he's going to come good. I think what's happened at the moment is that he is having to just adapt to being another player. Yeah, he's got Bernardo with him, De Bruyne with him, Gundogan with him. Yeah. He's just another key in the player in the cog now. Whereas at Villa, he was literally everything.
Yeah,
and he had some great moments. I just want to touch on going away from this just slightly when he had that game against Birmingham, and the fan did what he did, and then Grealish got the last laugh in the end. Was you there for that game, or did you watch your memory of that game?
But no, I didn't go. But that was just, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. It shouldn't happen to any footballer. You know what I mean? It just shouldn't happen. But like I say, he did get the last laugh.
Yeah, and he was loving it. He was loving it.
We usually do.
Oh, wow. Wow.
I don't know myself. The thing is, the thing with Leeds as well is, because Sean, from my band's a Leeds fan, he's from Leeds and everything. And he always says, one city, one team. Same with Newcastle kind of thing. Whereas, like Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham and London, obviously, there's more than one team. And it does kind of divide the city a bit, which is kind of a shame. But ultimately, we're all Brummies, really. Do you know what I mean? It's more of a wind-up thing. I've got loads of City fans in my family. Do you know what I mean? So it's just a point of banter.
And as much as it is when you laugh at being in the Championship, you would much prefer him to be in the Prem with you having those Derby Day games in the Prem.
The Derby days are amazing.
Yeah.
It was, that was the great about being in the Championship was the Derby days. I was at got a funny one actually. The one where I think we won 1-0. Agbonlahor had been injured and he put on loads of weight and everyone was like, what's wrong with him? Why hasn't he been training? And he comes on and just pops the goal in. But just before he popped the goal in, this guy in front of me turns around. He's gone, you're Richie Neville from Five, aren't you? I've gone, oh yeah, mate. And he's got this bag of minstrels, right? He goes, do you want a Galaxy minstrel? I was like, yeah, all right. Took this Galaxy minstrel. 10 seconds later, Agbonlahor scores the goal. So as soon as they start playing again, he turns around, have another minstrel, mate. Have another minstrel. So now it's like a running joke with the people I go to Villa with. If you got your minstrels, you need your minstrels for the game.
Superstitions, it's true. People have them. People really do think that they're something as well. So
I can't wear a top on match day.
Why?
Every time I wear it, we lose.
Well, I tell you what, just wear one on Wednesday and see if that's true.
Nah, man. I'll tell you what I've got. It's like a Villa top by default. It's obviously Brummy band, Black Sabbath. So I've got a Black Sabbath t-shirt, and that's kind of my match day t-shirt. Is that?
Fair's fair. So yeah, we just touched on Wednesday there. Goddamn. How do you see this game going? Because so far, you say that we're your bogey team, but I think it's kind of similar. I remember the last time we was in the Prem together before we had 16 years out, and you always seem to come up and get those goals against us, whether it was Carboni or whoever, man. It was just a pain playing Aston Villa. But yeah, it's been a bit back and forth, I would say. But going into this game, we've won 5 games this season. So, and from the team news today, we've still got no Bamford. A few other players are still out injured. And as everyone knows, in January, we didn't do any business. So we're going to be doing square pegs in round holes somewhere on the pitch. Whereas I think, I haven't seen any quotes from the press conference from Gerrard because I don't know if he's had one. But how do you see the game going in your current form?
I mean, we've been out. Obviously, we've all had a break, haven't we, for a couple of weeks? So I can't really say. Like, I'm not one for sort of being overly confident. I don't agree with that. I think once you're overly confident, that's when mistakes start to happen. Our concentration levels are frequently, especially sort of in the latter part of the Smith days, we could be 2-0 up and we'll lose 3-2. We couldn't game management and that kind of thing. So I know you guys are going to come and play your hearts out because you always do, and you're going to take it to us. So it's just how we react to that. I'd like to think we can win because we're at home, and I'd like to see us just put a run in and start climbing up the table, obviously. But we'll see. I suppose when you look at the signings we've had in the Jan window, you look at like a mini pre-season. I reckon maybe realistically a 1-0, 2-1, something like that. But okay. I reckon you're going to seriously, as you always do to every team, go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, Ritchie, but we haven't really been doing that this season. That's been part of the problem because quite a few of these players do need to be replaced because of the kind of style of football that we play. Yeah. It's unsustainable to do it for the fourth year for a lot of these guys that are now in their 30s. So that's the reason why we're in the position we're in. But just before I give my score prediction, I just want to give a shout out to Jacob Ramsey, man, because he's looking good. He's looking really good. Tell me about Jacob Ramsey so far.
Absolutely unreal. I mean, I remember, he's had a couple of appearances under Smith, and it was like, oh yeah, good prospect, fantastic. He's getting minutes and whatnot. And I don't know. I mean, he's done a few quotes saying that like he's been watching the new gaffer and stuff like that. And like you say, with someone like Steven Gerrard, you can't, when he says do this because this is going to work, and then that he's actually almost single-handedly won a Champions League. Do you know what I mean? In the final and stuff like that, there's a massive power in that, and I think certainly for the midfield with Ramsey and McGinn, that he's put a poker up their backsides. Like okay, and, he's going, look, you can be just as good as me. Just listen to what I'm saying. Do this. So I think you couldn't wish for a better manager for Ramsey because he is rampage. I mean, I dread to think what he's going to be like in 2-3 years.
He's gonna be. I can see it already. He's got all the tools in his locker to be one of those players that can be box to box or you straight 10, where he's giving you assists, giving you goals. He's got it in him. You can see it in his demeanor as well. He's got, and with Gerrard, like he said, I can't learn off anyone better than Steven Gerrard. He said that himself. And the proof's in the pudding with the way he's played over the last couple of months. He's been unreal. And you mentioned McGinn there as well, but you've also got Douglas Luiz just holding everything together as well.
Yeah.
So, your midfield is, wow. I'm envious.
Yeah, but do you know what? It doesn't always work like that, does it? You'll know. Similar team to us. Do you know what I mean? It always seems to work for City or Chelsea, but sometimes it just does. It's like, oh, come on, can't you just give us a break? Like, so that's why, when you've been down to the Championship and come back up, I just don't count my chickens until we put a run in. Then I'll go, all right, yeah, cool, it's looking really good.
Fair dues, fair dues. Yeah, listen, people, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Like the stream, and if you're watching the replay, please like the video as well. And I've got all of Richie's links in the description as well for the new 5 album that's out, and everything else, Spotify, IG, Twitter, everything else like that. So yeah, hit those likes, people. But yeah, for me, listen, I had a solid prediction. It's funny you say you should never get too confident with yourself. Well, I made that mistake when we played Newcastle. I predicted a very comfortable win. But when you looked at it, when we're at home against that version of Newcastle as well, they had only signed Chris Wood and Trippier.
Yeah,
we should have won that game. But we are in that we are where we are for a reason, Rich. So for me, I've tried to look at it and see a Leeds win, but I can't see it. I can't see how we're going to go to Aston Villa at this point in time where Coutinho's happy. You've got players that are hungry, like Watkins wants to prove a point. Ings will want to prove a point to stick around. Because I do kind of feel with Ollie Watkins, and I might be seeing something a bit different here. But if somehow Norwich ever stayed up, I could see him going back with Dean Smith at Norwich. and Gerrard getting in the strike of his preference. That's just my feeling. So I think he's got a bit to prove. So for me, and please get your score predictions in the chat as well. I'm saying a 2-1 Villa win. And like I say every time, what do I say, people? I just want my team to prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, and it will make me happy. I don't want to be right with this prediction. Please, guys, prove me wrong. So that's all you can do. I hate predicting losses for my team, Rich, but sometimes you just got to keep it real. That's what I do on my channel. I don't just give it the passion merchant thing and say we're gonna win when I just can't do it. But yeah, people, listen, we've gone 20 minutes. That's a nice little time for this one, for this preview. Rich, have you got anything that you want to plug or anything you want to say before we go?
Well, I want to say, nice one to you, KG. It's been like KG's the sound guy. We met over Twitter. We've been sort of supporting each other here and there with likes and whatnot. And it's been an absolute pleasure meeting this guy. Keep listening to KG because seriously, I can tell he's like an absolutely top man. And other than that, yeah, Five have got an album out. Five will make you get down now. So give it a listen. Five, the album's called Time. And other than that, good luck to Leeds for the rest of the season. Dig in and stay up and all of that. And all the best.
Well, yeah, listen, yeah, I made a promise to Rich before we came on. I said to him, and anyone that knows me in person knows how hard this is for me to not do any boy band quotes here or anything cheesy like that. They know how difficult, they know how difficult it would have been for me to do that. So I hope you all appreciate the professionalism I've shown up until now. But listen, no, we're going to leave it there. I hope this preview, gives you what you want through the days and the night. But I think it's about time that we turn out the light.
Come on.
Peace.